Hello, my name is Bill Cooper, your host for Toro's Operation and Safety Series. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Toro Reelmaster 5010 series mowers. The 5010 series consists of the Reelmaster 5210, 5410, 5510, and 5610. Since all of these mowers are similar from an operational standpoint, we'll use the 5210 in this program. This 5210 has been equipped with the optional cross-track all-wheel drive kit, which includes a rollover protective structure or ROPS and seat belts. The seat belt must be worn at all times when operating a unit equipped with the ROPS. Before we take a closer look at the Reelmaster 5210, there are a few things that you'll need to know. First, it's extremely important that you complete the Turf Maintenance Equipment Safety Education program that's available from your Toro distributor. Make sure you also read the operator's manual, which includes detailed instructions on safety, operation, and maintenance. The operator's manual is located in this tube on the side of the seat. This program isn't a substitute for a thorough reading of the manual. When operating a mower, it's important to wear substantial leather shoes or work boots. Avoid loose-fitting clothing or jewelry that could get caught in moving parts. Hard hats, safety glasses, and hearing protection are always a good idea and may be required. So make sure you check with your local ordinances, insurance, and course regulations. In this program, we'll cover the Reelmaster controls, safety interlock systems, safe operation, mowing techniques, and general maintenance. Your attention is important. The 5210 is a high-precision piece of equipment. When you understand these operations, you can get the most out of its capabilities. The Reelmaster 5210 was designed to make mowing as easy as possible. All the controls you need to operate the mower are within easy reach of the operator. To get on the machine safely, use the step on either side of the operator's platform. If you want to get on or off the right side, lift the control arm by pulling the arm up. You'll notice the seat is designed for maximum operator comfort. This lever on the left adjusts the seat forward and back. The spring tension knob adjusts for each operator's weight to give you a smooth, comfortable ride. Let's take a moment to go over the controls located on the operator's platform. This is the traction pedal. Simply press the top of the pedal to move forward, and the bottom to move in reverse. Your ground speed depends on how far you press on the traction pedal. The mow speed limiter is next to the traction pedal. Flipped up, it will control the mow speed and allow the cutting units to be engaged. Each spacer adjusts the mowing speed by 1/2 mile per hour. The more spacers you have on the top of the bolt, the slower you will go. For transport, flip back the mow speed limiter and you will have maximum transport speed. The Reelmaster 5010 series is equipped with tilt steering. To tilt the steering wheel towards you, press the foot pedal down and pull the steering tower back for the most comfortable position, and then release the pedal. Left of the steering tower is the service brake and the parking brake. To stop by using the service brake, press here. To engage the parking brake, push down on the brake pedal and push the top forward to latch. Always set the parking brake before leaving the operator's position. To release the parking brake, simply press the brake pedal. Here on the operator platform is an opening that lets you see the hydraulic filter indicator. If the service indicator is in the red section of the gauge during normal operating conditions, you should notify your maintenance staff. To the right of the operator's seat, you'll find the control arm. This arm has all of the gauges and controls to operate the Reelmaster 5210. On the control arm is the engine coolant indicator light. This is the glow plug indicator light. This should be used for the first start of the day or starting during cold conditions. More on that later. Here is the engine temperature indicator. During normal operating conditions, the indicator should be in the green range. Anytime this indicator goes to the yellow or red range, the cooling system should be checked. This red light on the control arm is the fault indicator light. But more importantly, from an operator standpoint, it's the leak detector light. So if this light ever comes on during operation, you should move off the fairway, shut down the unit, and contact maintenance. More about the leak detection system later in this program. This is the engine oil pressure indicator. If this indicator comes on when operating the unit, shut it down immediately and contact your maintenance supervisor. This is your battery indicator light. Here is the Reel Enable/Disable switch. Push forward to enable, the green light will illuminate, and pull back to disable. This is the throttle. You should operate at full throttle or all the way forward while mowing and in transport. Always idle the machine all the way back before shutting down the unit. This is the joystick for raising and lowering the cutting units. Push forward to lower the cutting units and pull back to raise. When the cutting units are enabled and you pull back on the joystick, the cutting units will lift up to the turnaround position. More on that in the operational part of this program. Here is the 3-position key switch. To start the unit, have your foot off the traction pedal. Make sure the parking brake is engaged. Move the throttle to the halfway position. Make sure the Enable/Disable switch is in the disable position. Turn the ignition switch to the on preheat position. Once the glow plug light goes off, turn the key to the start position. You can release the key when the engine starts. Do not crank the engine for more than 15 seconds. If the engine does not start within this time, repeat the entire process. Here, on the inside of the control arm, is the headlight switch. On the outside of the control arm is the hour meter. Lift these 2 levers to remove the panel to access the fuse block and diagnostic connection here. This connection is used in conjunction with the handheld diagnostic tool. On the back side of the cover is a decal showing each fuse location. Before changing any fuse, carefully study this decal. Using the wrong fuse could damage the electrical system. Lift the seat by pulling out on this latch plate and push the seat like this until it latches. Under the seat, you'll find the reel speed selectors. Make sure that the reel speed selectors are set in the appropriate range for your height of cut and mowing speed according to this chart. The chart is for both 7-inch and 5-inch reels. Make sure that you know what cutting unit configuration you have before setting the reel speed. Here are the backlap levers for both the front and rear cutting units. Remember to put them back to the mow position after backlapping. To lower the seat, just lift this lever up and pull the seat forward. Make sure it latches. Here is the beverage holder, radio holder, and 12-volt accessory port. Under the right fender is the optional Turf Defender hydraulic leak detector. We'll talk more about the leak detector later. This is also the location of the hydraulic fluid tank. To check the hydraulic fluid, have the machine on a level surface. Clean around the fill cap to prevent any contamination entering the hydraulic tank. Remove this cover and pull out the hydraulic dipstick. The fluid should be within a 1/4 inch of this notch. The other fluids you should check each day are under the hood of the machine. Release the latches on each side of the machine and pull the hood back like this. To check the engine oil, remove the dipstick here on the left side of the engine. If the oil level is not within the notched area, remove this cap on the top of the engine and add the recommended oil. This is the coolant expansion tank. The coolant should be between these two lines. Never remove the radiator cap on a hot engine. Coolant under pressure can cause serious injury. Finally, remember that periodically to check the tire pressure. The tire pressure should be between 12 and 15 psi front and rear. Incorrect tire pressure could affect the traction, performance, and aftercut appearance you receive from your Reelmaster 5210. Every day before you go out, make sure you have a full tank of diesel fuel. The diesel fuel tank is located here on the left fender and holds 14 gallons. Do not overfill the tank. It should be filled no higher than 1 inch below the fill neck. Here's your fuel gauge. It's important that you don't run out of fuel, because if you do, air will need to be bled from the system. Your maintenance staff should handle this job. We're now ready to begin operating the Reelmaster 5210. Min will be our operator. He's read the operator's manual, completed the safety education training program, and performed the necessary daily checks. Start the engine and run it at half idle until it warms up. Then disengage the parking brake. The Reelmaster 5010 series has an interlock in the parking brake, so the engine will kill if you try and drive off with the parking brake engaged. Push the throttle lever all the way forward and pull back on the joystick to raise the cutting units. Then press the top of the traction pedal and carefully drive off to an open area. To stop the unit, lift your foot off the traction pedal, then return the throttle to the idle position and turn the key off. Always set the parking brake. For your protection, as well as the protection of any bystanders, the Reelmaster 5210 is equipped with several interlock switches, which should be checked daily. You'll not be able to start the unit unless the operator is in the seat or the parking brake is set. To check the traction pedal interlock, depress the traction pedal. Try starting the engine. It should not crank. To check the Enable-Disable switch interlock, flip the switch forward and try to start the engine. It should not crank. Another interlock check is the seat switch. Have the parking brake off, start the engine, and lift yourself off the seat. Depress the traction pedal slowly. The engine should stop in 1 to 2 seconds. To check the final interlock switch, start the engine, engage the reels, and then raise the reels to the turnaround position. They should all stop. If any of these interlock checks do not work, do not operate the machine. Report the situation to your maintenance supervisor. Now, practice operating the Reelmaster 5210 in an open area under qualified supervision. Have the reels in the up or transport position and practice going forward and reverse. Stop by taking your foot off the traction pedal. To stop more quickly, take your foot off the traction pedal and press on the brake. Practice driving around trees or bushes and between objects so that you can get a feel for the reach of your cutting units. Stay far enough away from bunkers or water hazards so that you don't damage a cutting unit, the machine, or cause a more serious accident. Never back up with the cutting units lowered, or they could be damaged. If your wheels should start to slip when driving up a hill, back off slightly on the traction pedal to put more power on the drive wheels. Never go down an unknown hill because it may be too steep for safe operation and could cause a dangerous situation. On slopes, drive slowly to maintain steering control. Avoid sharp turns on a hill to prevent rollovers. Remember that accidents can happen to anyone. The most common causes are excessive speed, sudden turns, uneven terrain, and not stopping the engine before leaving the operator's seat. Cold capsules or prescription drugs may cause drowsiness, as can alcohol and other drugs. Stay alert and stay safe. Failure to do so could result in serious injury. Remember that the Reelmaster 5210 is a precision mowing machine, so always drive slowly in rough areas. If a person appears in or near the area where you are operating, stop the machine and don't start up again until the area is cleared. The Reelmaster is a one-person machine. Never let anyone else ride on the machine with you. This is extremely dangerous and could result in serious injury. The Turf Defender leak detector is constantly monitoring potential hydraulic leaks. If a hydraulic oil leak occurs, the leak detector fault monitor light will start to flash like this. The Turf Defender will make an audible sound. The reel circuit will automatically shut down. The traction circuit remains active, so immediately move to a safe area and shut off the machine. Notify your maintenance supervisor. There are a few mowing techniques that you'll need to use to achieve a professional-looking fairway. When arriving at the area to be mowed, shut down the machine and check the area for any obstacles, such as golf clubs, signs, branches, or trash that could damage a cutting unit. After you have checked out the area, you're ready to start mowing. Make sure that you do not drop the reels until you are on the fairway. To get the straight line cut and striping that is desirable for fairways, find a tree or other object and drive straight toward it. As soon as the front reels reach the edge of the fairway, pull back on the joystick to lift the cutting units to the turnaround position. Once you are off the fairway, perform a teardrop turn, like this. If you are making a left turn, you will need to turn right like this, and then left to quickly line up for your next pass. Another mowing technique is crosscut mowing. As before, drop your cutting units when you're over the fairway. Use an object in the distance to help you maintain a straight line. Mowing around the perimeter of a fairway reestablishes the sharp edge between the rough and the fairway. If anything gets caught in a reel, make sure that you stop the machine, set the parking brake, turn the engine off, and remove the key. Use a stick or other object to remove the item caught. Never put your hand into a reel. If for any reason the Reelmaster 5210 becomes inoperable, do not push or tow the machine without first opening this tow valve, located here under the seat. Not doing so could damage the hydrostatic transmission. Always tow or push very slowly for a short distance. And remember, if anything looks, smells, or sounds unusual, or if something feels different, bring it to the attention of your maintenance supervisor immediately. After mowing, always clean the machine and check it over. First, turn off the engine, set the parking brake, and remove the key. To clean the radiator screen, unlatch the screen on the left side and swing it open. Unlatch the oil cooler like this and use compressed air to clean the radiator screen and oil cooler. Unlatch the hood and tilt it back. Using compressed air, clean around the engine compartment. You'll find the air cleaner assembly under the hood. If this sight gauge is red, the air filter assembly needs to be replaced. Lift up these two latches to remove and clean the dust bowl. The air cleaner may need to be cleaned more often in dirty or dusty conditions. Once the machine has cooled down, wash the unit using low water pressure. Proper lubrication should occur after cleaning to minimize corrosion. The cutting units and traction unit has a number of grease fittings. Refer to your operator's manual or the quick reference chart on the seat back for the location of these fittings. To lubricate a fitting, first wipe it off. Then pump grease into the fitting and wipe off any excess grease. If you're asked to perform any additional maintenance, refer to your operator's manual and ask your maintenance supervisor for assistance. As you're inspecting the machine, you should also be aware of potential hydraulic leaks. If you suspect a leak, use a piece of cardboard, not your hand, to search for the leak. Hydraulic fluid escaping under pressure can penetrate the skin and cause serious injury. To jack up the Reelmaster, use the front axle here or the rear axle here. Always remember to use jack stands when working on a unit that is jacked up. Use common sense, and please remember the following points. Read the operator's manual. This program is not a substitute. Your Reelmaster is a precision mower, so treat it with caution and respect. Practice under supervision until you're familiar with the Reelmaster's operation. Most accidents are caused by speed, uneven terrain, and not stopping the engine before leaving the seat. Refrain from using drugs and alcohol. Use caution at all times and dress properly. Check the interlock switches and fluids every day before mowing. Stop mowing when a person appears near the mowing area. Remember, no passengers. Make sure you bring the Reel Master to your supervisor if anything seems unusual. Follow these simple procedures and your Reel Master will do everything you need it to do. I'm Bill Cooper. Thank you for joining me for a look at the Toro Reel Master 5010 series.